This is The Great Expanse by John Bep 426 here on YouTube. It's so great. It's so great to have you guys come back and watch these videos. I'm glad you guys are sharing them. I'm glad you guys have subscribed and hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Anyway. Yeah, this is a Great Expanse by John Bep 426 video because there's an injury related to work. Not really an injury, just a little bit of a strain or whatever because of repeated motions. Shut up. Shut up. That's not why. But if you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. All, not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So when a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it voiced. One rap jam. So I'm going to do a recap, a recall, a retort, a reaction, a review to Secret Invasion. It debuted today, June 21st, and it's a series that I do have some anticipation for, and it's finally here. All right, Secret Invasion starring Samuel L. Jackson, Cobie Smoulders, Ben Mendelssohn, Don Cheadle, Emilia, Clarke, my girl, Olivia Colman, from many BBC shows such as Doctor Who and Broadchurch, as they say it. But again, I'm not doing a watch-along sort of reaction, but I'm just going to give a post-mortem almost on the episode. So it starts off, and again, I'm not going to go bit for bit, but it starts off with Everett Ross, who I immediately said, this is a scroll. I don't know. He meets up with this rogue agent that you could tell didn't work for MI6 or whatever, or Shield or whoever it is anymore. He had this raspy voice for no reason, but for the purpose of being sinister and for narration. So I'm like, all right, he's a crazy guy that probably has it all figured out. And I said, the fact that Agent Ross wasn't buying what he was saying, I said, Agent Ross is a scroll. Because he's just so nonplussed about it. Nonplussed, a great word for the Great Expanse by John Bep 426. But it's if you know that they're shapeshifters, it's why wouldn't you believe them? That there could be thousands of them, because nobody would know. So the fact that he was just so indifferent about it, that's it. Scroll. So a chase ensues. The scroll falls off a building and dies. Okay. And the scroll happened to be chased by Ben Mendelssohn. Talos. I thought it was Talos or whatever. Now, I've never seen the full movie, Captain Marvel, so I don't really know what's entailed by it. So then we see in a glen somewhere, that's where Nick Fury returns to Earth, and somebody shows up immediately. So I was thinking, that's not a very good hiding spot, but it turned out to be Maria Hill. I was thinking this, okay? So, I'm looking at my notes here, so I don't go too long or veer too far off the course or whatever. But again, I haven't seen Captain Marvel, so when Maria Hill brings Nick Fury to the safe house, Ben Mendelsohn's character Talos is there. They do some kind of head nod, and they're touching foreheads, and he says, "I'm so sorry." And I was lost because I haven't seen Captain Marvel, so I'll assume that's what that's from. So I'm like, all right, and that's one thing I don't like about all this obligatory connectivity in Marvel. It's you gotta watch everything. It's people don't want to watch everything, because if you have to watch everything, that means, listen carefully to what I'm going to say. If you have to watch everything carefully, that means you don't have to take anything seriously. Does that make sense what I'm saying? If I have to watch everything, that means one episode or one program or one project will not have my complete investment, because I know, hey, well, something happened in this series, so I know I have to wait for the payoff. Oh, it didn't come in this one, so I have to pay off in this one. So you don't really get a payoff because everything has to continue. So there's the idea of a main character dying really doesn't even come into your consciousness, because you think, wait, there's a next project coming up. So that's kind of the problem with a connected universe. You know what I mean? Like everything is not invested in one project. You know what I mean? All right, let me get off my soapbox, even though I love the view from my soapbox. But anyway, so I said all that just to say that I haven't seen Captain Marvel. Okay, so I don't know why they're touching heads and they're so sorry about Soren, somebody's wife or whatever. So somehow Don Cheadle and the President of the United States know immediately that Samuel L. Jackson has met up with Maria Hill. That I don't know. Don Cheadle said that Samuel L. Jackson left Sabre, and the president was like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, maybe I should have worded it differently." He left Sabre, dude. What? They said they're known associates, so they probably already met up. What? Come on, man. He's been on a Skrull ship for how long? Since was it Far From Home that Nick Fury was on a Skrull ship? Come on, man. Anyway, so we learned basically what the whole series is about from one line of dialogue. No, I mean one scene of dialogue between Olivia Colman's character and Samuel L. Jackson. So Samuel L. Jackson's character, Nick Fury. Nick Fury says, "I'm going to go for a walk." As soon as he said that, I said, okay, he's going to get captured on purpose because he's probably one of the most well-renowned spies in the world. He's a large black man with one eye that everybody and their grandmother knows is Nick Fury. So I'm saying, okay, he's going to go get captured. Make it look like he's just having a wander. Just go over a merry, jaunt around Mother Russia, and nobody will recognize me, so he gets kidnapped like he meant to. And that's when, wait a minute, is that it? Okay, I think it's a shame. Wait, did I write those notes down? I think that's when he's talking to, okay, right, okay. So I'm on course, I wasn't sure. But when he's talking to her, the plan is unfolded, that they're trying to, he said, kill the Skrull rebellion in its crib. And I don't remember where that quote is from, but I have heard that somewhere, to kill something in its crib. Maybe it's very well known, I don't know. Maybe it's not just from one piece of material or whatever. So she says that, or Nick Fury says, I don't remember who said it, that there are many decommissioned power plants in Russia. They have the most in the world, decommissioned power plants. And he said that Skrulls are impervious to radioactivity. I don't know if that's comic book accurate or just convenience for the series. I don't know. I don't know how radioactivity can't kill you, but a bullet can. All right. Let's keep going. So they're saying that from one of these decommissioned safe houses, one of these decommissioned power plants, a dirty bomb was moved to a storage facility, and it was somehow captured by Gravik, who's the leader of the Skrull Rebellion, in so many words. So then this, who looks like a black guy, but you can tell it's a Skrull right away because he's just walking. He's in Moscow, so you know that's not normal. A black person in Moscow. This is Brittany Griner. Shame on me, shouldn't have said that. But anyway, he walks up to a gate. Everyone's in human form. Emilia Clarke walks to the gate. That's her first appearance. Who's a major star in this. Okay. She says, "Let him in," because he says, "Home in my own skin" is like the code word. So they let him in. The guys holding the guns go look at each other, and they let him in. These are Skrulls, obviously, but they're in human form. I'm wondering that the whole time. I'm like, okay, so they go to this place called New Skrullis, whatever it's called. It's basically a Skrull colony in the middle of Russia. And I'm like, why are all these people? And I think they did it on purpose, because the very next line, somebody says, "Yeah, we stick to our shells so that we'll fool anybody tailing us." I said, okay, so this is their excuse to not have them look like aliens. Okay, I'm so deep undercover that I'm going to look like a human the whole time. And let me just quickly wrap it up, because I want to say what I want to say rather than just give a bit by bit telling of the episode. Emilia Clarke is spotted by Maria Hill in a crowded area because the script demanded it. Okay. I see somebody curious. I don't think she knew that was a guy. Maybe, I don't know. So she follows her. At the same time, Nick Fury and Talos are going to this guy with the big hair that just sold something to a guy. I think was it the bomb itself? Because it was very small. Maybe it was the bomb itself. I don't remember. But he's very elusive. He's giving away that he's a Skrull the whole time. He's acting weird. Like, Fury pulls a gun. He's like, "You're going to shoot me?" Who says that? Somebody pulls a gun, you're going to be like, "Oh, no, don't," whatever. But I'm like, Skrull. Okay. So then I predicted. I said, okay, I even wrote it down. I said, okay, 2 fights and 2 chases are going to happen. Nick Fury and Talos are going to fight this guy or chase him. Maria Hill is going to chase and or fight Gaia. So Ben Mendelsohn's character Talos is getting his butt kicked by the big-haired guy, and then Samuel Jackson shoots him. Pow, pow. And for some reason, Talos is like upset that the guy got killed. He's like, Ben Mendelsohn has a speech impediment. I said no. And then it ends. I don't know what that meant, because again, I haven't seen Captain Marvel. Maybe Talos is a what do you call him? A pessimist? Not pessimist. A pacifist. He doesn't want to kill people, but he'll fight them and punch them, whatever. Chase them off the edge of a roof, like he did in the opening. But anyway, so Maria Hill is tailing Gaia horribly. Maria Hill stands out like a actress walking along a crowded street full of extras. That's exactly how she looks. I'm like, okay. You look the part of somebody that has a purpose that's tailing somebody. So as I predicted, Gaia went down a flight of steps. Maria Hill's going to catch up so that she wouldn't be out of sight. Then she's going to hide. Then she's going to spring the trap on Maria Hill, which they do. They have a little fight. She gets the better of Maria Hill. Ben Mendelsohn's character Talos shows up out of nowhere. His hair is different, so you can tell it was shot on a different day. I noticed stuff like that. I'm sorry. He follows her. Then he says, "Come down here." Then she looks and she's like, "Oh, father and son," because they're father and son. And he says, "Your mother or whatever died." The last words were, "Find Gaia." So I immediately wrote, okay, so they're setting up Gaia to be a sympathetic character. You know what I mean? For the audience to feel her conflict and to sympathize with her. So she tells him about, they meet up later. They're like in a cab or whatever, and they change forms for some reason. I don't know why. She says there's 3 bombs. She says, I'm one of the couriers. There are 2 others. She says they're going to some park. It's not Russian. I'm sorry. At a Unity Day. Silence. At a Unity Day. Why can't I say it? A Unity Day festival. So she says that their bags are marked with infrared dust. So, all right. Cobie Smoulders, Maria Hill character, and Talos are blending into the crowd. Nick Fury can't blend into anything in Russia. He has one eye and he's tracking somebody. A one-eyed man? I don't care how great of a spy he is. He has one eye and he's tracking people. When everybody that's in the vicinity of this park will notice him. I don't get it, but they needed Samuel L. Jackson to be in the series and to be in the scene. Okay? Now, earlier when he was like running down the steps with holding the gun, I said he looks really old and out of place. No disrespect. I'm not age shaming him because, he is, 70? He'll be 75 this year, I think. He was born in 1948, a year before Ric Flair. Meaningless information, but who cares? He's 75, and he looked it too. So in the festival, there's switch-offs. Gaia, who's supposed to be like conflicted, she hands the bags off so that none of them could see it. All 3 of them missed the handoff. 2 guys go 2 separate directions. Nick Fury follows one. Talos and Maria Hill follow another. Then this happened earlier in the show. A little girl with like a bouncing beach ball goes past Nick Fury like in Russia at nighttime. And I'm like, that was strange. That's random, this little girl. And I'm thinking maybe like Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury character was on a scroll section of Russia. I don't know. So then she showed up again looking like one of the little girls that sings the Freddy Krueger song from Nightmare on Elm Street. She's like, you remember me, don't you? So he follows her. She switches forms. She switches forms to a Russian guy that Samuel L. Jackson met earlier in the show, and he brought him around, and the guy said, vodka. So then he switches, obviously, and keeps looking back, so he knows that he's being tailed, like, keep following me. So it's like, why even change form if you're going to let... Shut up. You're thinking too much. Thinking too much. Stop it. Just watch the show. So he does all this, then he turns into Gravik. That's the leader of the Skrull Rebellion. So then he just blows everything up. Boom! Blast, blast, blast. The bomb goes off behind Gravik. He doesn't flinch. As if, like, the kinetic force of the bomb didn't affect him at all. And Nick Fury's fine. No one seems to be harmed. I think some people were, like, too close, but it's like the bombs went off just to scare the crowd away. So then you see Nick Fury call to Maria Hill. He says, Maria, come here. And then he shoots her. I was like, whoa. I said, was Maria Hill the Skrull? And then they just give it away because he starts smiling at her devilishly. I'm like, okay, it's him. It's like, you can do a lot more storytelling there. It's like, leave the audience a little bewildered or a little mystified. Like, you know what I mean? Like help suspend disbelief. Have Nick Fury or whatever behave like Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, the imposter Nick Fury. Have him behave like Samuel L. Jackson. No, the imposter behave like Nick Fury. I'm sorry. Instead of just, I'm like, boo. So Samuel L. Jackson's character, Nick Fury, holds up a gun in a crowd and nobody notices. I'm like, okay, the whole crowd notices you because you're black, notices you because you have one eye. You hold up a gun and nobody flinches? Come on. So the episode ends with Maria Hill dying. And I was like, that's a shocking conclusion to the episode. She died. She was shot. And she died. And Nick Fury was doing something, and somebody that I couldn't recognize, like, grabbed him away from her. Then it's like what do you call it? A bird's eye view angle of her just, like, bleeding out in the street. And that was the end of the episode. Thoughts? As again is not a phrase. As I've said before, I had a lot of anticipation for this series. So far, the tone is very Falcon and the Winter Soldier with an insurgency group. And it feels run-of-the-mill. I'm sorry, it does. It feels run-of-the-mill. The execution, it is pretty good, the execution. But it feels so familiar. I'm like, nothing's going on here that I haven't seen before. You have an opportunity to have aliens behaving like aliens. And instead, they're acting like humans. When they're in the new Skrullos, the colony, they're behaving like humans instead of aliens. This is what you have to do. Blah, blah, blah. Stay here. What's behind that wall? Victory. They're acting like people. They're not acting like aliens. I don't know anything about Skrull culture except they eat these weird blue fruit that's really good. And they grow plants that don't look like plants. They're like transparent with like a whole bunch of glittery lights. Like the heart-shaped herb or something from Wakanda. We also see that they kidnap these people and they put them in these things and they're like mind flayed with like, like bolts of electricity running through their temples, and they're like, Then the person takes their shape and he takes their mind too. I didn't know the Skrulls could do that, but who knows. But the series, it isn't what I thought it was going to be. I was hoping for subterfuge. Yes, like there are shapeshifters and you are kind of guessing like, is this person on our side? Is he on the Skrull side? But you don't really get that. Instead, you just get this like sort of run-of-the-mill insurgency story on Disney Plus. This feels like the second season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And maybe somebody will say, well, hey, it's Marvel. It's all connected. It's all MCU. That doesn't work for me. And to me, this is a disappointing opener because of the lack of creativity. And the dialogue in this is whack. The tone is really weak so far. Samuel L. Jackson was like quipping. Nick Fury's character was like quipping. He said, if you hear anything, call a brother. I was like, oh my God, did he really just say that? Samuel L. Jackson is the executive producer of this series. I said, you wrote that line or you okayed that line? Call a brother. And then he's like in the bar with Maria Hill. He goes, yeah, there are a whole bunch of spooks. He said, I can say that. You can't. I'm like, this dialogue is so forgettable. And the acting is very wooden. Very wooden. I'm like, while Samuel L. Jackson's character is talking, I'm like, is this the audition I'm watching? Like, he wouldn't have to audition for Nick Fury, would he? Like, this feels like an audition. The acting here is kind of weak. Special effects, all right. The Skrulls, I think they bought like one mask and just mass produced the mask and just put it on everybody. But so far, it's not doing it for me. So if I have to give it a grade, it's not a terrible episode. It's not bad. It's just not what I expected based off the trailer. Okay. I'll give it a B-. This episode, B-. All right. So if you agree with my assessment, if you agree with my recap, my retort, my recall, my review, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you thought of my input on this episode. Did I have some valid points? Do I have some invalid points? Write a dissertation in the comment section if necessary. All right. And hit the like button for this video, okay? So the YouTube algorithm can see we've got traffic coming in, traffic going out. Do your part, now do my part, so that the Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name, kiddos. And next week, I will be coming with my next recap, recall, retort, and review of episode 2 of Secret Invasion. I'll see you next week.